Guys, in today's video we are going to see one more example for this echelon form. So in the earlier videos and the examples, all those examples are of 3 by 3 matrix. Now I have taken this 4 by 4 and now let's solve how to get the rank for this. Okay, so first what you have to do is you have to analyze the matrix. That means which operation will make you or will help you in getting zeros. Okay, what I said, first try getting zeros in the first place, that means in the first row, first column, and then you can go later on, okay, for the next columns. And one more thing is, once you update an element as 0 by using some row transformations, you should check for every operation that that particular element which is 0 is not again going to any other integer value. It should be 0 only. For example, you have in the same row, like first element is 0, that means you have used some row transformations and you got the first element as 0, and later on after doing some other row transformations you find that the other element in the same row can be made 0. Okay, but you shouldn't blindly do that operation. But first you have to check, okay, if I make this element as 0, we should also check whether any other elements which are already zeros are again changing their value. If that is the case, then you should not do that kind of operation. So now first do R2 as R2 minus 2 R1. Why I am doing this? Okay, see, if you here what we are doing, we are updating R2, that means we are changing R2 with what? R2 minus 2 R1. I said right, you have to go with the second row. Okay, second row, first column element first, then you can sequentially go for the all rows. All right, 2 R2 is what? 4, right? 4 minus 2 into 2, 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Yes, we are getting 0, so we can proceed with this operation. So first check for this element. Okay, leave the first row, consider from the second row onwards. You try making first element as zeros. Okay, either all these first elements you can do, or first only this and then followed by the other elements. Remember, if you start making this element as 0, then you'll get answer easily. Okay, so I want to make multiple operations in one time only. That means you can write all these things and you can find the new matrix. Okay, and R3 I will update it with R3 minus 4 R1. Okay, why I'm doing? I'm making this element as 0 now. Okay, similarly I'll make this element also 0. R4 is updated with R4 minus 4 R1. Now if you observe, what is R3? 8, right? 8 minus 4 into R1. 4 into R1 is 2. 4 2 is 8. It's 0. So with these row operations, we are able to successfully make all the first column elements as zeros. So that will be easiest technique. Okay, first try making this row this column as zeros. Leave the first row, the remaining elements whatever there in the first column, try making them as zeros. Then eventually in that process only you will find many other zeros coming up. Okay, now after doing all this operation, we will get for row 1 we are not updating anything, so write row 1 as it is. Okay, and also remember that now here I am updating row 2, row 3, row 4, all these 3 in one operation only. That means I am writing it at once. But here if you carefully observe, I am using only R1, right? 4 R1, 4 R1, 2 R1. That means we are multiplying the integer value with the R1, and you can observe that R1 we haven't changed anything in this operation. Okay, so for example, if here I want to update as R3 minus 4 R2, if that is the case instead of R1, so here I am doing with 4 R2. But before that what I am doing, I am updating R2, right? So when you are doing this operation with the R2, you have to do this operation with the new matrix. that means new R2 row. That is why most of the examples or most of the people what they recommend is do each operation for one step. Okay, because see, if I do this step in this, I'm not doing these two here, I'm only doing this step here, so I will get new values for R2, right? So again I'll go in the next step, I'll update R3, which is just minus 4 R2 for suppose. So then R2 means again we have to take the new values, right? Okay, did you understand why I'm telling you to make all the operations sequentially, but why I'm doing here all three at once? Because we aren't using any updated rows. For example, if I have to use R2 here, then I can't go with the same step. Why? Because in this step only R2 is updating. So how can we use the updated value in the same step? We can't use it, right? So that is why always try going sequentially. Okay, if I made you a bit confusing here, I'm so sorry about that. You can just skip the part from where I'm telling you this R2, but generally you have to know this rule. Okay, rule, it's not like rule, it's more of like you are just trying to make your answer correct. Okay, you should not be using the wrong values while you are doing these operations. Okay, uh, if that explanation did not understand, I will try explaining just basically. So listen here, so I have here 102 208 403. Okay, this is the matrix. Now here I'm doing some R2 is I'm just doing operation as R2 is updated with R2 plus 1. Okay, this is for understanding. Please don't think that this question is related to here, not at all. Okay, I'm telling you a technique. Okay, now I'm doing R2 is updated with R2 plus 1. So what it will become? 319 403, right? This is actual R2 matrix, I mean R2 row updated. For example, if this is one step, right? For suppose we did not do this step like this way, we just wrote R2 is R2 plus 1 and R3 as R3 minus R2. Okay, I'm using R2 here. Now if you do here 102, now 2 plus 1 is 3. Next what is 0 plus 1 is 1, 8 plus 1 9. Now what is R2 operation? R3 R3 operation R3 minus R2. So what is R3? 4. Now what most people will do is 4 minus 2, they'll, because we are considering the original matrix only, no? 4 minus 2, what is 4 minus 2? 2. Again 0 minus 0, it's 0. Next 3 minus 8 is minus 5. They will think this is the correct matrix, but no. Why? Because in this step only we have updated the R2 row. Then how can we use R2 values as older matrix? We cannot do that. So you have to check whether in all the combining operations you have any updated rows or not. If you have any kind of updated rows, please do those in the next step. Okay, I hope this is very clear now. So if you perform all these operations, you will get 0 0 minus 5 minus 7 0 0 minus 5 minus 7 and 4 R1, right? So 0 0 minus 3 minus 4 3 is 12, so you will get minus 15 and then minus 21. Yeah, this will be the matrix after doing all these operations. Now if you observe this matrix carefully, we have all the negative values here. These are zeros. Here these are negative values. So if you just divide this rows completely by minus 1, they will become positive values, right? Because doing the operations on positive values will be easier than the negative values. So I'll update again R1 as R1 divided by minus 1. Okay, not R1, R2. Okay, now R3 as R3 divided by minus 1 and R4 as R4 divided by minus 3. Okay, why I am taking minus 3 is in the same table we have 15 and 21, right? So it will be like less small numbers, so you will get easily 2 1 3 5 0 0 minus 5 and 7, you'll get positive values. Now 5 and 7 0 0, 5 3s are 15, 3 5s are 15, 3 7s are 21. Yeah, I have multiplied the complete row. Remember, the echelon form is only for the row operations again. Now if you see, we have 5 7 5 7 5 7, so we can just make these two rows as zeros just by subtracting, right? So what I'll do now, I'll update R3 with R3 minus R2, and I will update R4 with R4 minus R2. Okay, see here, now you will get a idea that since R3 is also having 5 7 and R2 is also having 5 7, we have used here R3 minus R2, that means this row. Here can we use R4 minus R3? You'll get this doubt. That is why I explained you the total updated rows concept, which is very important. Okay, you can't do this R4 minus R3. Why? Because here you are updating the R3. When you update R3, these all will become zeros. So after becoming zeros, if you subtract 5 minus 0 is 5 again. So you shouldn't be multiplying, you shouldn't be subtracting the updated rows. That is why I told you, when you are going for this bulk operations, bulk transformations in one step, remember that you shouldn't be using any updated rows. If you are using those updated rows, make sure that you are doing all them in a separate step. Okay, now 2 1 3 5, I hope you understand what I said now, because I'm telling you again, if you use R4 minus R3, R3 will be again 0 0 5 7, right? While you are calculating, you won't be writing till then 0 0 matrix, right? I mean 0 0 rows. So what you will get, you'll get all the fourth row as numbers, which is incorrect. If you do this R4 minus R2, you'll get zeros. That is why I told, don't use the updated rows in the current operation. So what you will get, 0 0 5 7, because we are not updating anything here, and all zeros here. Okay, now what can we do next? Okay, if we observe here, these two rows are 0 rows, and if you observe, the upper triangle is all zeros, that means it is in echelon form. If you want to check whether, okay, still we have any way to make them zeros, you can check. So for example, if you are trying to make this as 0, you have to definitely subtract, right? 1 minus 1 0, you don't have anything 1 here, so you cannot do. If you try multiplying this row with 7 and this row with 5, 5 5s are 25, 5 7s are 35, again 5 7s are 35, and when you subtract rows, you will get 2 minus 0 as 2. So here 0 is updating again with the 2, which you should not be doing. That is why, what do? We will leave it as it is, and we will make sure that we will count how many non-zero rows are there. How many are there? 1 and 2. So rank of this matrix will be 2, because number of non-zero rows are 2. So you can check this answer correct or not by using the general method, that is a method as well. Okay, I hope you understand. If at all, if there is anything, or did I confuse you all while in any of this step, please let me know about that step, because I'll try removing this video, because I don't want to create much confusion. I tried explaining you the basic techniques which you have to remember while doing the matrices, because most of the people, whoever I saw, they'll be doing these kind of mistakes only. So I'm trying to explain you what mistakes you will make, so what to avoid and how to go how to approach the solution fastly and correctly. So if at all, if there is any confusion, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure that I'll either delete that video and make a fresh video on the same question in the another way, or I'll try explaining it again and again. Okay, thank you. Please subscribe to my channel.